Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well and staying safe during this time. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Like I said, thank you so much for checking me out. If you haven't done so, please make sure to hit that subscribe button just right below the video. Cool, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And if you're returning, welcome back. Thanks again for your support. I truly do appreciate having you here.
So interesting moves here. We can see it's not been a very good day, and even Doge, after Elon Musk news for Dogecoin being accepted at superchargers for Tesla, down 2.5% and 10% on the week. So even the hype train isn't boosting some of those meme coins. Let's take a quick look at what's happening in the SEC versus Ripple case. So we had a very eventful week, so this has been our primary focus of discussion. We had the motion for reconsideration from the SEC. We had documents unsealed. We had a lot to talk about, and this coming week is going to yield quite a bit. We have yet to see what kind of actual official reactions we might get on those documents since they just came out. And we also have the Ripple response for the SEC motion for reconsideration. That is due on the 25th. And that will be very interesting because we expect them to go hard after the SEC for changing their position entirely and now saying that Hinman's documents are actually representative of his position at the SEC as head of the Division of Corporate Finance. So really interesting stuff will be contained there. I expect it to come from Matthew Solomon most likely because he's the fiery one, and he will definitely tear that to pieces because, as we saw, that was a hypocritical mess. And then finally, the end of the month, which is a little over a week away, is the end of the discovery period for expert discovery. So there's still lots of open items. We're waiting for the motion to strike for the motion to strike the fair notice defense for the SEC trying to get rid of that for Ripple, and then also the motions to dismiss. Those are big ones still ahead. So we still have a lot to come. This week will be busy. I expect us to see quite a few things come out. Now, we've talked about it on the channel multiple times. Earlier in the week, I hypothesized Nexo would be the next one to fall after BlockFi, and we saw that happen. So Nexo here, this is the article from the Block, which I think nicely summarizes it and has some good refresher things in it as well. But Nexo announced this. He sent it to an email to any user, so I got the email first, so I was able to talk about it before the news outlets here. But they posted it on their subreddit and said that they voluntarily implemented changes to their Earn product in the US to comply with the newly announced guidance from the BlockFi settlement. So what does this mean? Again, here's what the statement said. Top-ups to Nexo wallets made after the date this came out, which was just yesterday or Friday, I believe. So any deposits after that point will not earn interest until the restructuring of the product and registration process with the relevant regulatory bodies are complete. Remember, they still have to go through that S1 process with the SEC. So they have to file the registration, they have to get that approved, and then they can offer the next iteration of the product. They call it Earn Interest Product 2.0. Just like BlockFi said, no longer blockchain or BlockFi interest accounts, but it will be BlockFi yield going forward if that gets approved. Remember, the SEC does not want to approve these types of products. You've seen the delays with the spot Bitcoin ETF over a year now. I think the first proposal we saw was in the spring of last year. And so anyhow, it's just this constant mess of the SEC getting these registration requests and denying them or delaying them. And so I would expect that to happen. So fortunately, if you use BlockFi or Nexo, they did allow those previous account holders to grandfather in their holdings. So as long as you don't take the money out, you can continue to earn interest on what you had in there up to that date. If you ever take it out, then you're done. That portion will never be able to earn interest until the registration is complete and the new product is released. So if you have 2 Bitcoin in BlockFi and you take one out and you still have one in there, the one left will continue to earn. The one that goes back, if you tried to put it back, would not earn. So do keep that in mind as you're moving things around. Nexo has now fallen from being able to offer this voluntarily, though. The SEC did not force them to do this, but the thing that you need to consider is when they took the action, the first request here against Nexo, they also did Celsius at the same time. And so that was back in October. Here's the article about that. I'll link that as well. But those were the 2 named ones, Nexo and Celsius. Seeing Nexo make this move makes me believe that Celsius will probably be not too far behind, and perhaps you'll see others such as Voyager follow suit to try and be compliant. These are the big names. These are ones that want to comply and have been trying to, so expect them to try and get ahead of this now that we've seen the BlockFi settlement. So more here, but again, you've got the issues with the not just the SEC, but with also the states. The Celsius letter that was issued at the same time back in October wanted details around ownership structure and so on. So until there's clarity for the sake of the regulators on those items, we'll still have issues. Now, personally, I'm just going to talk about this. I use Vald now for my XRP because XRP is hard to earn on because of all of the delisting. There's only a few places. Nexo will let you, but now you can't add. Bitrue allows you to, but the rates are low on just your holding, and trying to get into one of the lockups is nearly impossible because they fill up so quick. And if you're in a time zone like me, in the US Pacific time zone, it opens up at like 2 a.m. here. And so unless I really want to stay up or wake up in the middle of the night, there's no way that I'm going to be able to get in on one of those. But Vald, I like. They have good partners. You can see it here. I'll link their website down below if you're interested. But the rates are really nice. I don't use them for everything because in some instances they aren't as good as another platform like Voyager perhaps. But XRP, you get 4.6% on your XRP for just having it there. That's their savings rate. But if you put it on a 30-day lockup, you get 6.7. So I rotate on 60-day on the 30-day lockups, kind of like what you would do back in the old days. We saw now that crypto accounts exceed CD accounts from that survey just earlier this week. But in the old days, when you actually got good rates on CDs, like the days of my grandparents, you would ladder CDs, and you'd have CDs with different maturing date or dates of maturity, so that they would roll out and you could get your money out at that certain time, earn a high rate, and then you roll it back into another long-term CD. So you might have, a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year, and then they would, as they cash out, you get a new one. Well, this is nice because I can set them up on, whenever you want, put it in a 30-day lockup, set it on auto renew, but if you want to not renew, you can just toggle that out by going in and doing that. So there's some interesting things you can do here with the lockups, but if you don't want your XRP locked up for that 30-day window, you can take the lower rate. So again, I'll link it down below. I'll link the sign up in the video description, and I'll pin a comment in case you're interested, just because we're running out of options to be able to earn on our XRP. Our options are already limited because of the case, and now with the big players in crypto lending and interest-bearing accounts kind of being restrained here by the SEC, it's important to do your own research, find options that are still available, and then if you are interested, to act in a rather expeditious manner, because the time window seems like it's shortening here until they have to freeze new account deposits. So do keep that in mind as you're making your own decisions there. Again, no financial advice, just want to make this known, and as always, do your own research. And finally, on the Motley Fool today, there was an interesting article just posted this morning called Ripple Lawsuit. ETH could be next. So Ripple, of course, we are well aware, is in the middle of this suit. But who could be next, and how could this proliferate not just to the digital assets themselves, but also companies in the digital asset space? So we'll go through this one quick. It's only a few paragraphs, so I think it's a quick enough read. We can go through it and discuss. This week is a pivotal moment for cryptocurrency. Ripple's being sued by the SEC, which has accused it of selling unregistered securities. Ripple is the organization that develops XRP, one of the world's most popular cryptocurrencies. The Ripple, XRP, the differentiation, a lot of these media outlets don't necessarily get everything behind it, so bear with them as they're getting up to speed. CNBC, Fox Business, they didn't quite get it right in the beginning, but now they have a better understanding and description of the difference between Ripple, the company, and XRP, how it's used, how it comes to be, how it came to be more accurately. And so just have some patience with the wording in some of these. The SEC is accusing Ripple of having conducted a $1.3 billion securities offering by selling XRP to the public. The lawsuit seeks that Ripple return the money it raised plus interest. If the SEC wins, it will establish a landmark precedent, and the implications reach far beyond Ripple itself. And so in this article, the author is going to explore how it could have wide-ranging implications on other crypto projects, but most notably Ethereum. So how would this affect other cryptos? In itself, the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit won't affect the crypto market. The lawsuit is against Ripple Labs, not private holders of Ripple. However, therefore, it doesn't necessarily affect the price and supply of XRP or any other cryptocurrency. However, if the lawsuit were to succeed, it would have wide-ranging implications for any organization that raises money by issuing and selling cryptocurrency. If XRP is classified as a security, then the same label applies to pretty much any crypto. So organizations that are responsible for issuing and selling cryptocurrency will be responsible for following securities law. This isn't a problem for Bitcoin, whose creator's identity is unknown, and as we saw in those hearings, they've recognized Bitcoin as a commodity. It is, however, a problem for Ethereum. Ether has a well-known organization behind it. Its founders' identities are all known, and they participated in the token sale that got ETH out to the market, the ICO. If the SEC lawsuit against Ripple succeeds, then Ethereum.org might also be sued. ETH will also be subject to securities law from that point forward. that will make it a lot harder for organizations to issue and sell crypto, as the process will involve lawyers, investment bankers, and other such highly paid professionals. And this is key. You can see how by making it a registration requirement, you are further backing the legacy system. Because what does the legacy system entail in financial markets? Well, you have to have lawyers, you have to have investment bankers, and they all charge hefty fees to be able to get your product out there to meet the registration requirements from a legal standpoint, but also from a financial disclosure standpoint. And all these professionals just really rack up the bill. This is why you see these IPOs become so massive, because it's not just the pricing in of the asset itself, but also all of the things leading up to it. And there's hefty fees. We're talking millions and hundreds of millions of dollars in potential fees when it comes to registrations and offerings. So really interesting, and it's good that they point that out here. A loss by Ripple could also have negative consequences for companies like Hive Blockchain Technologies. Hive makes money by mining and selling crypto. It does not invent new cryptos out of thin air, but it does bring new tokens into existence. Is mining a form of securities issuance? The SEC lawsuit does not speak to that, but it seems like an angle the SEC could possibly take in the future. And we've seen them try and mix this in with some of the infrastructure bill language and everything, where they're trying to rope in mining into some of the disclosure requirements, into the KYC and all that. So that's an important aspect we need to consider as crypto investors if you are involved in a cryptocurrency that utilizes mining. If it wins in its lawsuit against Ripple, perhaps the SEC will be emboldened to go after miners and have them classified as securities issuers as well. So will the SEC win? That's the $1,000,000 question in all of this, is whether they can actually win. So he says here, you'll need to talk to a lawyer about how the trial is going, but most media coverage seems to be implying that Ripple's prevailing so far. It isn't controversial to say that efforts to have cryptos regulated as securities have so far failed. And he'll go on here to cite a November case where a Connecticut jury decided cryptos were not securities and developers and miners were not issuers. So that's a nice precedent in that space, but a lot of those things seem to be much more specific to that individual case. So for us, we still have a lot to come, but the SEC is really emboldened by the language that's been given from Chair Gensler as far as who they can go after, when they'll go after him, and for how much. So we've seen a lot happen here with the SEC versus Ripple. We've seen the BlockFi settlement, the biggest crypto settlement ever, right? $100 million combined between the SEC and states. And now we see the dominoes falling as Nexo is down, Celsius likely to come, Voyager possibly. Other platforms that are really trying to be compliant are going to have to be proactive, because again, they have their own boards and investors to have to respond to and to have to answer to when it comes to these things, and they can't risk being shut down or having severe penalties, and many of them just don't have the backing to be able to go through a year and a half, 2-year long legal battle with the SEC, like you've seen Ripple take this stand and go into this, but it's already been 15 months and counting, so we still have much more to come in this case, and it's really shameful that we're seeing this, but we have no choice but to continue the battle. Let me know if this was helpful for you in the comments. I hope that it was good information as we're trying to see the whole picture of what the SEC is doing. Hit a like if you found any value here, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so I can keep you up to date on future news and updates, especially as this coming week will tell us a lot about what's happening in the case, and we'll get to see that Ripple reaction to the SEC's flip-flopping.
I'm your guy. I will keep you posted. I'm your advocate. I'll be back on a daily basis, usually multiple times per day, with these videos to keep you updated with everything going on. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't done so, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Feel free to share any of my videos with your friends, family, social media, or anybody who may care to listen. Thanks so much for your continued support. I'm always here for you. I want to help you through this time. So thank you so much for continuing to choose me. Enjoy your day, stay safe, and I'll catch you again probably in a couple hours. Thanks, everybody. See you later.